Hi, this is Dr. Vicente, and I would like to explain to you and present to you our redesigned EDUC1049. We have essentially four design principles. The first is that we're going to ensure that our entire course will be adhering to the flipped classroom model. We will only have 4 lectures in total. Our tutorials will follow a lesson study approach, which the first one will be a sandpit, second will be a synergy, and the third will be a showcase. We will also be promoting communities of practice. 3 out of the 4 assessments will be group-based. And the fourth design principle is our focus on core competencies. These are curate, collaborate, create, and to be able to critically reflect. Let's take a look at the first block that will comprise our course. And we focus on the tutorials. As I said, sandpit. In this first of 3 tutorials, students in groups brainstorm and plan their group presentation assessment, which is due in the third tutorial. Sandpit will be followed by synergy. And in this synergy tutorial, which is the second of 3 tutorials, what's going to happen is that groups will provide or give a mock presentation, eliciting feedback from peers and from the tutor. The third of 3 tutorials will be what we refer to as a showcase. In this final tutorial, groups present their finished product, and their peers as well as the tutor will be providing them with a mark. This first block is the curate block, and the platform that all the students will be using will be Pinterest. I'll explain more about the assessment tasks later. The second block will be the area of collaboration. We will follow the same principle of having a sandpit of the first tutorial to be followed by synergy, the second tutorial, and a third tutorial showcase. Again, the skill in this second block would be to collaborate, and the learning platform that the students will be using will be Prezi. So we've covered the first block, which is create. We want to collaborate, and we now move on to the third block. Once again, we're going to follow the lesson study approach for the tutorials, sandpit, which was planning, synergy, mock presentations, showcase, which is the final presentation, and it's the third block. We will encourage our students to embrace the skill of creation or to create, and the platform that they'll be using will be Powtoon. Let's take a look at the assessment tasks in detail. For the curate block, the first block, the assessment task will be asking the groups to create an online resource using Pinterest, focusing on one subject area in the Australian curriculum. For the collaborate assessment task, again within the same groups, they will create an assessment task using Prezi, incorporating at least 2 subject areas, for example, maths and history. Again, this will comprise 25% of their final mark. For the create assessment task, in the same groups, they will create a presentation using Powtoon, and they will be focusing on what they perceive will be the pros and cons of ICT in the classroom. This should be a maximum of 5 minutes. Again, it will comprise 25% of their complete marks. The curate block will start off with the introductory lecture, which happens on week 1, and it will be followed by 3 tutorials. We will have a tutorial in week 1, week 2, and week 3, following the sandpit, synergy, and showcase. The second block, which is the collaborate block, will start with the second lecture, and then it will be followed by tutorials 4, 5, and 6. 7 and 8 will fall during the break, so we won't have any sessions then. We move on to lecture 3 in the create block, and this will be followed by tutorials 9, 10, and 11. Fourth block will actually be something interesting. We will have a big lecture conference where students talk about what they've learned in their tutorials, and then in tutorial 13 we will have a dating game in which students have the opportunity to provide rapid feedback on the evaluations that they will be doing, the reflections that they'll be doing. And this reflection will be encapsulated in the final assessment task, which is what I'm going to be explaining now. The students will create a 2,000-word essay or any ICT digital storytelling tool describing their learning journey.